Alright guys, today we have the Gundam Barbatos from the Iron-Blooded Orphans anime. And this thing, well, if you've seen IBO, you know how cool Barbatos is. It's just, well, I mean, it's the brand new Gundam. So we kind of get to see it grow and change literally throughout the series. And while many people have built this already, I actually built this a while back. So this will be a little bit different of a review because we're going to skip the build process and go straight into the actual built Gundam. But for right now, let's talk about the box art. Right, okay, so this is official Bandai product because that's what we buy around here. HG Iron-Blooded Orphans. That's awesome. Of course, 144 scale Gundam Barbatos, and got a great just shot there of the Barbatos, and I guess it's its fourth form because it has the awesome shoulders. And of course, you got a good little headshot here. Mikazuki August, its pilot and the main protagonist of the show. So I don't know if you really want to call it the main protagonist, but I guess that's what he is. He's the main Gundam pilot, and that's what makes him awesome. That, and he's just absolutely insane. And I love just the artistic way they wrote it out here. It's not in big letters across here in English. They wanted it to be, well, kind of like a flag, really. That's, that's just kind of their thing. Come down here to the bottom of the box. And we've got plenty of product shots. We got some Barbatos looking awesome there, holding its awesome mace. And here you see it's got its shoulders gone, and it's got this little bitty shield or whatever that is. Let me turn the slide off. It's making glare happen. Then you got it here. It's actually got some more stuff on it. It actually says, I think this is, yeah, okay, so that's actually showing it in its first form, slightly later form, I guess. And that's showing it in its complete fourth form. You got the sword there. I don't exactly know what that says because that's in Japanese and I'm not. You can see the backpack here, and I guess the thrusters is what it's pointing out there because it got the one big thruster right in the middle. Then you come down here and you see the bottom of the feet, and I guess it can move. And then just, I guess it probably says, it's posable. And then here you have the obvious customization. If anybody knows the IBO line, you can just customize. You can just pull stuff off of one kit, throw it on another one. It's pretty neat. So here you've got some extra shoulder bits it got from somewhere. And then a cool claw dealy. Turn the box this way. You got the same thing as the top thing, BandaiHobby.net, so you can see all your cool stuff. And we'll go back here to this side of the box. You get the generic front and rear shots there. That's pretty awesome, except they didn't do the same shot for each one for whatever reason. And then here, it actually, I guess it's a little read up on Mikazuki and where he comes from. CGS, which I think was the old company they worked for before they actually started their own. You got the actual website there, gtaketsu.com. And Taketsu is iron-blooded. And then, of course, it'd be Taketsu Orphans. And then you've got, I'm guessing, a little read up there about the Barbatos and where it came from, because there's a story there. Come here, and I assume this is the warning. Don't stick anything here in your face. It'll blind you. You can choke to death on it. You got the obligatory symbols over here. I still don't know what they mean. I don't bother looking things up. Oh, look how this, okay. One cool thing about the IBO line, they were very cheap, and the yen price here of 1,000, which means $10. That's just awesome. Come over here, and we got the illustration by Koma. Background image, I don't know, by Saito Yoshinobu? I can say it eventually. I don't know why it's in two different images. Maybe it just means this is by one person and this is by another person. But either way, it's upside down. But we love this artwork. It's all good. Let's go ahead and take a look at the kit. Alright guys, we've got Barbatos here. He is already built because, well, I built this thing last year at some point. So, alright, and it is a really, really cool kit. Like, very well articulated. A lot of detail for such a small and simple HG. And these things are actually very simple. Because a lot of the kits, as we'll see while we're doing these reviews, they've got a lot of similar inner workings. You know, a lot of the arms are the same. All of the different Gundams have the same inner frame, just slightly tweaked for each one. And because of the customization, parts interchangeability, they wanted to keep everything very, very similar. Now, if you notice one thing that's a little bit different in this review, I don't have my standard little black stand. Because what we're going to be doing over the next few reviews here is building my IBO display to go in my cases. Now I had this on display before at my old apartment, but because we had to move, everything got taken down. So what we're gonna do here is actually kind of assemble my display as we go. But we'll take a look at this. This is basically how I have my Barbatos displayed, and he is awesome. You got the great, big old mace that he's known for using throughout the series, because Mikazuki is not a very precise person, not to be mean, but he enjoys smashing things, to be perfectly honest. But I love the details on this guy. Of course, I painted a lot, and you can see on here, I actually weathered it quite a bit. But usually in the regular kit, oh, it's a scratch, I thought it was a hair. You get to these little parts here on the shoulder armor. This is supposed to be all one big sticker. Same thing with down here. But because this is already engraved in the armor, I just went ahead and painted that just to make it stand out and not be as, obvious as a sticker. Same thing with this in here. And all the yellow bits, I went ahead and added some gold paint. Actually, it looks like I missed a bunch right here, because there's just some blatant yellow right there. And then coming up a little closely, and you can see it just added a few little silver details. The face itself actually comes all white, so you kind of have to add these extra little details there, what I would call like the mustache and a little, chin beard kind of deal there. But the Barbatos is just a really cool Gundam, and a very, very different design compared to old school Gundams everybody's used to. Now, a few things that I did do on this guy, I did use a few of the stickers, such as here on the upper thigh part. That's a dark gray sticker. This is before I got into my my love of my really dark gray marker. Same thing right here. This is a sticker, and this is a sticker. I didn't bother painting those. And all of this right here on the leg thrusters, that's a big sticker, but I did it because it's got this cool silver or chromish outline there. And you come down here, you've got the great leg vents or whatever. I never really describe a lot of the technology with the Gundams, but those are yellow. Normally painted those gold. And come back here, and you can see on the back side of the arm, got the cool hoses in there. Painted those silver just to make them stand out. Now, I did actually do a little bit of that gray paint touch up right inside this elbow here. I don't know why there's a hole there. I guess in some cases, some things can mount to the elbow. I'm not entirely certain. Now, there was a big problem with these kits. I'm sure somebody else probably came across it at points. This part of the backpack right in here, they don't really mount that well. They just sort of friction together. And because the backpack is meant to hold the different weapons, such as the sword right here, which is really cool accessory and weapon. So it's got the little clippy here. I glued these on because I kept falling off constantly, especially with this big old gun here. Now, I don't remember, I guess I'll find out right now, if I glued the gun on. It's not one to let go. I'm not going to force it. But I think I glued the gun on. If you've built this kit, it comes, this is actually an extra options kit that you can buy and build. And once again, it has a big white sticker here because this all comes in this kind of brownish color. It's the same base color as the frame of all the Gundams for the most part. But it comes with a white sticker for this, white sticker for this. I just painted some silver details along the way. But this guy is really, really posable. Let's go ahead and pull the mace out of his hands. It's just really neat. And it just slides in there. Pull that out of there. We'll talk about some articulation because that's what we do here. We'll go to the head. Come on. It's just the normal HG double ball joint neck. No big surprise there. But one thing that's really neat in these guys, it's got the, sort of see in there, the captured ball socket there for shoulders. And it does have actually an upper swivel instead of a forward like older HGs. So you can come up that far, and then the arm can bend right there. So you got the nice little kind of hinge joint there. So you can reach up about this far. And the cool thing is the shoulder armor itself articulates. I don't want to pop it off. It can pop off really easy. So it can actually, just like that, pop off. Of course, that's how you get it in a different mode, which we'll cover here in a little bit. So you got the nice little shoulder articulation there. Of course, you got the forearm rotate, not forearm, bicep rotation. I'll get my words right eventually. But this armor with this weird cut here, when you rotate it, it gets real easy right here. Rotating it back, it wants to get a little stiff. You get frictions onto itself. But also, this arm, we'll show it in just a second, you can replace. It comes with a whole separate different arm because Barbatos goes through so many evolutions over the course of the series, they start giving you all the parts for it. So, you got the same here, nice little forearm. Double jointed elbow? Or just single? I think it's just a single joint. Yep, single jointed elbow. I think it's got a good bend to it. See, part of the gun just fell off. So it's all good. But, like, these arms allow you to get some really nice spread. It looks really funny because it can go that wide and just kind of have open gaps there. But, you know, that's just how the Gundam do. So we'll talk about that. And since I'm on it right now, I'm going to go ahead and pull this arm off. Ah, his arm fell off. And go ahead and slap this one on. So this arm was the one he actually started with at the beginning of the series. So it's a little bit different because at some point, you know, they ran out of bits and pieces. So it's got a whole different upper arm here, and it's a very different lower arm. You don't have it exposed with the hoses, and then you have this under here, which I don't even know what it is, to be perfectly honest. In later versions, it tends to be like an extra weapon holder, like for spikes or for other like guns and stuff. It doesn't seem to have a purpose in this particular version. But then you have like a little miniature shield, which I added. A little bit of weathering and damage too, a little bit of silver, a little bit of bang up damage. But that's one of the ways you can customize your Barbatos. Just with the original kit. And we'll talk about the middle of this guy. Can actually do some upper body rotation. It's got, the way it's built, this upper part actually has a pivot up in there. It has a very, very skinny central core there, and that's a little scary, not gonna lie. But I love the fact it's got these like hydraulics here. So, and of course the larger kits, it can rock a little bit side to side. It can't really do that here. But it's got the actual hip swivel, can go about that far. I don't want to force it. It can go farther. There it goes. Okay. It just, when it starts having friction, just don't want to force it. So you can go all the way around if you really want to. Just got to keep everything out of the way. Much like getting these arms out of the way. Of course, you got the hip skirts. So all of these things all have these hip skirts that just have a lot of movement to them. Just the standard little kind of polycap hinge there. And then you've got the front skirts, which, of course, I cut because you got to have your individual leg articulation. Pull this up, come down to the leg. The hips themselves are fixed in there, but you get the upper leg hinge. You get the thigh swivel. Go into the knee. It's actually double jointed. It just doesn't go very far. So it's got a joint here and a joint here, so it can bend at two parts. It doesn't go super far. It can only go about that far because the armor gets in its own way. But then the ankle, this is a very unique ankle. At least, you know, it was unique until they came out with all these kits. So you got your little ball joint right up here, but then this whole part down here can just rotate freely. So you can go full on, 90-degree ankle tilt. Not that you need to, but you can. But then you also have the front foot flopper. So he's got his own little hinge up here. It can't turn just by the way it is. But then you also get this little ankle guard, which is a little bit different than normal Gundams do, where they have the ankle guard here that pivots, and actually pivots way up here. So that's your basic Barbatos. Your basic Barbatos. Oh, I was wrong. Actually, that does move. Does it? Yeah. Okay, I'm totally wrong. It actually does get some hip swivel. I thought it was fixed. It just didn't want to move until I pushed it too far. Once again, guys, I'm kind of dumb. But it's all good. I haven't played with this guy a whole lot since I had him on display, and then he's been in his box up until now. So the poor guy's finally getting some daylight on him. Or LED light, whatever. Let's go ahead and pull these shoulders off. Let him see what he looked like in his original form. And like I said, I can't pull the gun off the back right now. It's kind of permanently fixed because, well, I didn't want to display it with the gun. And so he can be like this. Where's this other fist? I have to retrieve the fist, guys. Now these guys all came with the same basic through fist. Let me see here if it'll hold. There we go. So they all kind of look like this, and then just it's a very square peg You know, they wanted to keep it simple. They wanted to keep all the hands pretty interchangeable and easy to work with. So that's what they went with. And of course, you get your awesome mace, which is his main weapon, like forever. He comes back to it several times. You can get some neat little poses out of it like this. But one problem that these legs always want to kind of chicken leg a little bit. It wants to get low and fall over. Like, it'd be nice if this could reach just a little bit lower so you could actually stand with it properly. But you can get a lot of downward movement out of these shoulders, which almost makes up for it, but then it wants to tilt. But because these legs are, at least fakely digigraded, not totally digigraded, it just looks like they are. So you can get about that tall, but then you can't really maneuver it exactly the way you want. Now these little shoulder swivels actually do come off. I just don't feel like pulling them off, to be perfectly honest. And then you can go back into the stance I had him in earlier, or we can just go ahead and throw this in this hand. Take a sword, which he got later on. And, oh, look at that. It won't go in there. Of course it won't. But the back of the hands just pop right off. They just pop right off. There they go. The only problem is when they pop off and you don't want them to, which happens quite often with some of the larger weaponry these guys can have down the line. There we go. So now he's got his sword, which I add just a little bit of silver to the blade there. Now the master grade, well, okay, not master grade, the 1/100 version of this guy, which is actually a pretty awesome kit, I just don't have it, comes with a slightly different sword. He's actually got a little, like, it's actually got the hilt and guard a little bit, where this one, for some reason, didn't. It just comes with this very basic version of the sword. So there we have Barbatos looking very, very armed. And probably very dangerous because, well, if Mikazuka's, driving it, it is dangerous. And this cannon basically pegs in right here. Or if you have it in actual gun mode, it can just plug in like that. Nope, not like that. Like, where does it go? I don't even remember. That's how often I don't play with this, guys. Like that. So you got your really, really long, cannon. And unlike other Gundam series, these guys don't rely on energy weapons. So they're not using big beam cannons. They're not using energy swords or anything like that, beam sabers. They use very realistic weaponry. Guns have bullets. Weapons have blades or are very good for bashing things. So what we will do here, I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping this up by putting his shoulders back on. Which is just a little peg there. And a lot of these Gundams all use a similar type of shoulder armor. Not that they look the same, but they mount the same. That's what's great about this line. They really, really wanted you to be able to copy things, steal things from other kits. Because that's what they do in the show. It's very realistic. What would you do on the battlefield, when you were done? You pick up whatever was left over and use it to your advantage. And that's what they did. This arm and part of their shield come from a whole different mobile suit. And they picked it up after the battle and started upgrading it. These shoulder armors, they came later whenever they met up with Teiwaz and they gave them an upgrade. But I did this one with a little bit of weathering, so it's supposed to be an earlier version, so you get some nice dirt around all the joints, scratches from battle, stuff like that. My first little foray into a little bit of battle damage and weathering. So go ahead and get this guy back on his peg if I can, if it'll go. Ah! Come on, Barbatos, cooperate. Just like Mikazuki, he'll only do what Orga says. Other than that, he can't really make his own decisions. So, there we go. And like I said, he wants to kind of crouch and fall down sometimes. But I think that's going to be it for this review. And next time, well, the next one we open up and look at, we'll start building that display. It's not going to be this base. This is my review base. But I do have the base plate that it will all be on. And I will start assembling that next time. So, remember, guys, to like and subscribe if you actually like my videos and like what I do. And just remember to keep on building.